As you create AAA and are recruiting new members, are there any writers that want to get into AAA that you deny who later turn out to be big name writers?
There were, depends on what you consider big names. There were dudes that were from the crew that actually won that, that Fupaisa used to be from the crew. And we just had a misunderstanding, you know what I mean? I don't know how personal he took it, but yeah, he was from the crew though, you know what I mean? But it was just for a couple of weeks and shit. I'm not putting anybody on blast and talk about our discrepancy. That's unnecessary, you know what I mean? That's like defamating the both of us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was the homie back in the days.
Were there any crews that AAA would always be with or go riding with? Did you have any?
Well, in the early 2000s, GAW, almost like synonymous because like they're all my homies and shit. I don't have any dude from that crew I don't get along with or that's ever hated. Deuce, the head of that crew, is like a good friend of mine, like my boy and shit. Prone, that's my homie. So there's not many crews that openly just painted with me, but I used to be from KOG and LTS in the late 90s, from like late 96 to 2000.
We'll actually get to that part of your story real soon, but first, I want to know, as you're writing Krang, you develop the AAA crew, you're recruiting new writers. When does the name Butcher come into play? Can you tell us where that name comes from?
Butcher kind of was just like most of my letter schemes, and that wasn't like not until 98, you know what I mean? My letter schemes, and I started doing both. I kind of like acclimated Butcher in with Krang. And I was always the type that never had, like I can never, and this is not dissing anybody, depend on other writers to come through and finish my productions, because I would get a whole wall. I would like go, try to get a whole wall. And so you'd see Butcher, and I'd have a whole nother burner spot, so I would hit up a Krang there with another scheme to keep it like it was two different people in a total different style. But it was my scheme that made me choose that name, because people, not everyone knows who Krang is or what Krang is, but people know what a butcher does. And
what does a butcher do?
He chops shit up, and he's very precise with detail, and he delineates things precisely, and that's what my style is. I do chrome. I was doing a lot of chrome, three-dimensional stuff, but not like the three-dimensional stuff you see overseas where they're going for humongous like two-story letters, where I'm getting down there with the thin tip and slicing it up and chopping it up freehand like that. You know what I mean? Literally going off the dome, bro. That's what I do. Just like a rap. It's a freestyle rap,
Do you tell your friends about your new name?
Yeah.
What do they say? What's their reaction to it?
My dad, rest in peace, my dad was the funniest about it, like, because he'd have apple juice in the fridge, and I would hit up his apple juice, and the food like, Butcher, you butchered my apple juice.
You know what? I actually want to go back about your dad. What does your dad say when you're, was it community service and they lay down all the pictures that you got caught and your dad realizes it was you? What does he say to you?
Dude, I don't even remember, bro. I just remember I felt stupid as fuck, dude. Like, he was, look, my dad was very, for how he could have been, very open about my art and very, like, nice dude. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it. Like, I was intimidated on him because he was a big dude, you know what I mean? But I can't remember, bro. That's crazy. Yeah, like, I remember just the look on his face. Like, it was the same look when he was picking me up from juvenile hall and shit like that. Like, the look on his face was enough to me, like, okay, I know that. Like, I can't do certain shit. He's not going to beat my ass, I'm already big and shit. Like, but... yeah, bro, like, I just remember feeling like, oh, fuck, because I lived with them, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
You're giving your dad headaches. Does he ever talk to you about quitting graffiti? And why don't you quit?
Rest in peace, bro, like, what?
You're giving your dad headaches.
Fuck.
I'm sure he spoke to you about quitting.
I stressed my dad the fuck out, bro, like, not just with graffiti, but with, like, gang shit, like, stupid shit, you know what I mean? No, they supported me, bro. That's what I say. It wasn't like fucking Ramo's dad in Beat Street or like, when are you gonna get a job and stop doing this stupid graffiti shit? in cariño. My dad, they supported my shit. When, I'm not going to mention any names, a very well-known, actually famous graffiti writer, him and I had a beef. Where fucking, he slashed my shit and then I slashed his shit. He came back to the hood and dissed my production and put a white line. And just so you know, if you're listening to It's All Love, I'm not hating, I'm not mad. My dad said, fuck that shit. We're gonna go fucking camp in the station wagon overnight and let this fool come back and fucking try this shit again. So my dad had my back on the fucking, on my art, you know what I mean? Because he knew that was my art. He just didn't like the fact that it was public domain and I couldn't fucking take it with me. You get my point? In public domain, meaning Cadillac used my work for an advertisement on the LA Weekly, where they parked in front of my wall and fucking had my whole shit and even my shit reflecting on the vehicle. We went to Gil Garcetti's office. My dad knew him, ironically, and explained the situation. Can we monetize this? Can we capitalize off this? And he goes, no, because graffiti is public domain. If it was in a studio and they signed, that'd be a different story, but it's public domain, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's with the discrepancy was me not being able to take it somewhere, so he liked when I painted on canvas. He supported my art and music like all the way, you know, him and my mom.